Western Bulldogs #1 fan.
I thought I would never see the Bulldogs play in a grand final in my lifetime.
Star of our screens for years with massive shows like The Glass House, Question Everything, and our fave, Gruen.
You are the voice of Australia. It rhymes with genitalia.
And one of Australia's most prolific stand-up comedians with such shows as Willosophy, Free Will, and you guessed it, Jagged Little Will.
Suddenly you're like mansplaining things. Sorry, do you know what mansplaining is? That's,
And now, what you talking about, Will? In the Rhino Room until March 8, tickets at Fringe Tix. Please welcome to the show, Will Anderson.
Oh, there he is. Oh, yes. Good morning, Will Anderson.
So quite often
It's rare in your own opening that you get a drop.
Yeah.
You know, that was nice. I felt like I was really at Vegas at a Skrillex concert or something.
Yeah.
This is real fun.
So when we do those little pre-produced intros,
Yeah.
I like to watch people's reactions.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen anyone get around their own intro more than you will.
I was saying this actually to say, I mean, this is one of the rare things they don't tell you about the career in show business is that, everyone goes, oh, what's it like to be on TV? And you're like, oh, actually, to be honest, that's my job. So,
Yeah.
like, most of the time it's really hard. I'm in meetings. I'm thinking about it in an intellectual sense. But the fun bit of the job is you go into a radio station and someone's gone to so much effort to do a little summary of your career and, like, put it to cool music.
Yeah.
Like, there's no production level in my actual show that's as good as that,
Right,
you know?
right.
So this is the real thrill of the morning. So if you can't enjoy that, what can you enjoy?
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
if it doesn't spark a bit of energy, then what's going on?
Also, the funny thing is when you've got little clips that I can't remember ever saying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that all sounds like me. Could just be AI.
Yeah, 100%. No one is more excited to have you in the studio than our own boy, Andrew Hayes, who has wanted to meet you for a very long time. So,
I've followed the journey for a long time. Well, and you've been around for what? And we're right in saying you're about to go in a few years' time. Was it next year your 30th comedy tour?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so next year it'll be 30 shows in 30 years.
My
So, and I've been
gosh.
coming here to Adelaide for I think 28 of those or something.
wow.
So, yeah, it's really fun. Can I just say, have you mentioned to your listeners, this might be a secret that I'm not meant to talk about, but you are not broadcasting from a studio at the moment. You're in a makeshift studio.
it's not a secret.
Oh, no
It's-
secret.
okay, cool.
We've mentioned it several times.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
every time we stuff up and it's regular,
Yeah.
so it's the boardroom, it's the studio,
I
it's the
can
makeshift.
tell you, Will, so much shit has gone wrong that we can't hide the fact we are in a makeshift boardroom.
Well, you know what I love about you being in a boardroom? I get to tell my favourite ever story that was told to me by Molly Meldrum. So
Go on.
Molly Meldrum was working at a radio station. It's okay. This is one of the Molly Meldrum stories I can tell on air. But he'd had a big night. He was DJing all night. He had like a residency at like Heat nightclub in Melbourne or something like that, or
geez.
whatever the equivalent was back in the day. And he would DJ through the night.
Yeah.
And then he'd had a pretty big night and he rolls straight into work. It's fair to say he's probably not in the best shape to be on the radio. So the phone is rung in the studio. The boss of the company's like, you have got to get him off air right now. So Molly's like, all right, yeah, I've got to get off air. He's like, I've got to go and have a nap. Right? So he's just like, I've got to go and find somewhere that's quiet
Yeah.
to go and have a nap. Now, Molly told me this story, by the way, so I'm not speaking out of school. He went into the boardroom because there was nobody in the boardroom, and he went under the table in the boardroom and thought, oh, this will be a nice place to have a nap.
Oh no,
He
someone's at a meeting.
He awoke. He awoke to seeing feet all around him. and they were having a boardroom meeting discussing his future at the radio station.
Could you imagine? And then what does he do halfway through when they're like, I don't think it's looking good, and you just hear it.
Well, even worse, you just see this little Akubra pop out from underneath the
Oh, yeah,
table.
Dickie Knee style.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
So it's nice to be here in the boardroom. I appreciate you having me.
There's no one on the table, I don't think.
No.
No, we're good. We're
I
good.
don't think so. All right, go on. Ask about the Western Bulldogs.
Oh, are you a
you want
Bulldogs fan?
I'm not a Bulldogs fan, but I just love how much of a fan you are.
Yes.
So I want to know as well. Just this is from a man, very honest, straight shooter. You got to see a flag in 2016. What happens this year, Will, if they don't make finals? Do you think you'll have a new coach in 2026?
Oh, mate, this is not SEN. What are you doing?
If you do
Love
want to
that.
get
That was good. Give us a call now. I've got a volcano coming up next. So, you can all.
Well, Funny story, he worked with the Volcano for about 4 years on SEN doing
is that
full
right?
pack
And it
sport.
regularly was Corns v Beveridge.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
I mean, look, here's what I will say about the Bulldogs is I am of the camp. So there are all sorts of different camps. There are the camp of people who are like, oh yeah, if the Bulldogs don't make the finals, we're going to have to get rid of the coach. And there's the camp of people who see my team. Can I say this? We won one premiership way back in 1954. One.
Yeah.
Right? One. The year that television came to Australia was the one time that we had won a premiership.
Yeah.
We had only played in one other in 1961, up until the point where Luke Beveridge started coaching our club. And since he's been coach of the club, we've won another premiership in 2016. We've gone to another grand final in 2021. He is the third most successful coach to coach to finals in the competition at the moment. And apparently at the Western Bulldogs, we're like, we could do better. When have we ever done better? Give me any evidence in the last century that we have made
It's
a
solid
better choice than this one. He can literally coach for the next 50 years without making the finals and still be our most successful coach.
So, Will, if you don't get hired by Luke Beveridge himself for the next contract negotiation, then I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'll just go into the meeting like that. I've got
So,
some facts.
Have you met him? Because
Yes.
from all accounts, he is a lovely, lovely, lovely man.
Now, when he first started coaching, maybe I should get off him for this, but when the first 2 or 3 years that he was coaching, he used to come to my shows. That the Bulldogs would all come down as a group. It is tough for them these days because it's like the comedy festival is like gather round and that part of it, so it's not as much. But yeah, he used to even come to the show. So yeah, I've definitely met him.
There you go. That's nice.
Yeah. I will say the one that, 2016, the worst one was Easton Wood was our captain that year. Great player. But Bob Murphy was actually our captain. He did his knee in round 3 and then
Yes.
Easton Wood captained the
And they
club
won.
and they won the premiership,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, that big famous moment, Bob Murphy gets invited up on stage. But my memory and Easton Wood's memory of that night, every time he sees me, is at the function afterwards where I see Easton Wood, like, you know, and like want to give him a hug because he's just won the premiership for the Bulldogs. The only thing I forgot was I was holding a glass of champagne in each of my hands. So when I have hugged him, I have literally just poured 2 glasses of champagne down the back of our premiership captain. And he brings that up a lot.
Wow, that is incredible. Okay, Will, the show, what can we expect? What you're talking about?
Well, you can't expect anything because it is what you're talking about, Will. It is my completely improvised stand-up show. So
Stop
it's
it.
all
So
made up
you're
in the
making
room.
it up as you go.
Just did 12 of them in Perth, completely different show every night, literally made up with the audience in the room. I talk to people. So if you are the sort of person who's nervous about being talked to in a comedy show, just sit in row 3. I only ever get past row 1, row 2, I'll talk to you. But it is also consensual crowd work. That's what I say to them.
That's amazing.
It is the opposite of primary school rules. If you
Right.
put your head down, I will not call upon you.
Okay.
You know, at primary school, that was if you put your head down, you knew the teacher would ask you.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of that. Head
Okay.
down, you're fine. You're
Okay,
safe.
I so desperately want you to go along to Will's show. And sit
Oh
in the
my
front row.
gosh. I'd be just sitting there marveling that you can do that. Do you ever have a night where you're like, I'm not feeling it tonight? Or can you just, even on those nights, can you flick into a mode and go, it's showtime and just feel it?
I think the most interesting thing of all of doing a lot of them, because I've been doing this show for over a decade,
Yep.
but this is the first time I've done it as a touring show. So normally to be one-off, maybe 2 or 3 shows, but special events to do it. So the idea of doing it every single night means that you have to work out a way to make every single night very exciting. And the truth of it is that no, because you need to go, what's next? What am I going to do next? It's actually more engaging than doing your regular show, because there is a chance in your regular show that
Yep.
you can get into a groove with it and you could be 2 or 3 minutes forward and kind of go, I haven't really been concentrating on what has been going on. Like the words have been coming out in the right order and everything's going fine, but I've really been thinking about whether I'm going to get a bow in the gardens after the show. Not a bow at the end of the show, a literal bow bun for a snack after the show. And with this one, you just have to constantly be thinking, engaging with the show. So it's super fun.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yep.
Mate, just before we let you go as well, I love how punny your titles are,
Oh, yeah.
by the way. And so this is What You Talking About, Will. Can
Yes.
you take us through what some previous ones and maybe some future shows, what they
Well,
might
the
be
first one was I Am the Wilrus. You can still send me an email at thewilrus@yahoo.com. I will not receive it, but I've never shut down the email account. That was the first one.
Because why would you?
The one that I hate is that the first show I ever did was called Diet Life, and then everyone since then has had a Will pun. So there's been 29 Will puns and 1 not Will pun. That annoys me so much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a few that I've never used. Triumph of the Will is a good name for a show, but Triumph of the Will was that horrible book by the Nazis, so that's not a bad
Don't do
good
that.
Don't
title.
associate yourself with that place.
Just,
Girls Gone Will. That couldn't do that one.
Yeah.
Wilf. That one probably doesn't get.
you had a couple up your sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're going to like this. What about Kill Will, Volume 1?
Kill Will,
That's
I've done.
Oh, have you?
It's already done.
Oh, my
Been
God.
done. It's a good one. That's a good, and the title was the poster was really good. It had that yellow sort of theme in the same way as the poster did. It was good.
I knew it wasn't me. I knew it was too good to be mine.
He was working on that for 45 minutes.
Do you
and
know
you've
what
already
though?
done it.
Well, hey, I haven't done part 2, so you
Okay,
can just
part
change
two.
yours.
There we go.
Kill Will part
Joe,
2.
you've got some as well. You've got Clean Will of Health.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Well, I'm saving a few for the end, like Terminally Will and Last Will
Yeah.
and Testament. So I think
That's
Clean
nice.
Will of Health will fit into that timeline.
To Will a Mockingbird. Oh, it's a
To
little,
Will a Mockingbird, I like. It's just too big for a poster,
Yeah.
but it's
Correct.
a good. I think it's a good title.
yeah, everyone's favourite ice cream, Bubble Will. No. Okay, Josie, you got
I
one?
liked it.
Joe's like, no, hang on. I got to be honest with you. Bubble O Will. I'm not sure that's on the list.
Oh,
I feel like we
watch
might
this
have.
space.
Whoa.
It's rare. You've just seen something because up until this point, you're experiencing what everyone experiences when everyone brings this topic up and has done for the last 25 years since they noticed it was a pattern.
Yeah.
Me patronising it.
Yeah.
Me going, oh yes, that is original. I've never heard that before. But
Okay, that's going
now
home.
I've got to be honest with you. Bubble O Will.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good too.
We'll
Me
take
with
that.
a poster with a little gum on my nose.
Yes.
Yeah, that is so hard to bite into. That
Yeah.
you
Yes.
break
Break your teeth, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Oh, all right.
A
I'll
range
claim
of
that.
my own ice creams maybe to sell afterwards.
What you talking about, Will? It is on the Rhino Room.
Hang on, I like this.
And it says here on the sheet, one other venue. What does that even mean?
Howling Owl on Sundays for
There
accessibility.
we go. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
very good.
Okay.
There's the fine print. There's the fine print. Go see a show. It'll be absolutely outstanding. And like we just discovered as well, you're going to get something new every night. You could watch Will Anderson night after night after night and
Yeah.
get a new show.
Yeah, some
Correct.
people do come back, which I love. But
Yeah.
but if you come back, don't sit in the front row again. Because I've already talked to you.
Will, always a pleasure. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming in.